All right. I guess closing the door means I'm starting. All right, so today we're going to talk about maps for mobile, right, using the BlackBerry WebWorks. This isn't really so much about BlackBerry specific. It's very general. You know, you can do it in majority of the platforms out there. And my name is Justin Lee. I'm an application development consultant for BlackBerry. I've got to stop saying RIM anymore. It's BlackBerry now, right? And I actually come from Singapore. Flew all the way here and doing this session. So today, talking about the web for mapping on the web, right? For WebWorks. Just to get a sense, raise up your hands, just to get a sense. How many of you out there in this audience do HTML5 or have knowledge on that? Right, great. So how many of you done HTML5 has done on BlackBerry 10 HTML5? A handful, smaller handful on that. So I guess a lot of you are somewhat unfamiliar with our platform and how versatile HTML5 is on our platform, right? So let me just, in one short sentence, we are quite good in HTML5 support on our platform, full stop. Okay? So let me get started with this presentation. I get a lot of questions about mapping and on our platform, right? Can I use BlackBerry Maps? You heard of BlackBerry Maps, right, on our BB10? Can I use BlackBerry Maps on our web application, on your web application? Answer is no. Very simple answer, no. All right, it's not there yet. It's going to come later, right? But it's not there yet in the initial launch release. So if it's not there, then what do I do? What do I do to get my maps, right? There's several ways of doing it, right? One of the ways is actually to invoke our native maps application. That's also not available yet. And yeah, cool presentation, right? I know. That's exactly why I was asking, right? Why am I doing this presentation? Anyways, so it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. You could actually do a lot of workarounds and whatnot to actually get it working. But the simplest way to use maps on our platform with a web application is to use any web mapping application APIs right now. Right? Simple answer. How many of you here have used Google Maps API before? The JavaScript one. Not the whatever, right? The JavaScript. So you've written that before. All right, you guys are experts now. You can write maps on our platform. That's it. Presentation done. Well, I'm not joking. I'm serious. I'm serious about this, right? So with BlackBerry 10, because our support for HTML and HTML5, it is that easy to bring platforms, web mapping, and a lot of the web APIs over and working on our device, on our devices. So what are some of the steps to actually go about doing it, right? Firstly, of course, you want to get location, right? Everybody wants to get a location. Everybody wants to find out where they are, right? So we just use HTML5 standards. It works on our platform. It works on other platforms. It works on the desktop. It works on various, pretty much every other device that supports the geolocation, navigator.geolocation. Simple, easy, one-liner over there. And then, of course, when you have a success, you set the positions, you set the geolocations, and so on and so forth, etc. And if you fail, of course, you handle the failure. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Everybody familiar with this code? Yes? No? I'm going to do like a dance, if I get no response. Or maybe sing, on camera, yes. So the next step really is to choose a mapping service. Which mapping service would you want to use that offers web APIs available using JavaScript, REST services, SOAP services, or whatnot. All right? So essentially, these are the few that we have samples for, which I'm going to show you later. So there's Google Maps, obviously, Google Maps, Bing Maps, Leaflet, and Open Layers. How many of you have heard all of them before? Whoa. Expert. Can get him up. Can you come up to help me present? Or at least help, right? Yeah, I'll get you to help. So these four, I'm sure majority of you have used Google, right? Upcoming Bing Maps, they have a lot of different services. They support REST, ASHX, which is the AJAX calls, JavaScript, right? They support SOAP and et cetera, et cetera. They have lots of APIs for Bing Maps, right? Leaflet, however, it's a lightweight JavaScript, right? JavaScript framework that leverages on the mapping of OpenStreetMap, right? Which is open source and free and whatnot. Open Layers is also another framework that allows you to do that. So first things first, Google Maps. Google Maps is essentially, all you need to do is just add this link over here, the JavaScript, right? Google Maps JavaScript API 3, version 3. All the information that you get here, you can find it on the google.com, developer.google.com/maps, essentially, right? So all this information, readily available, works on our device. All the samples that you find on the Google Maps documentation all works on our platform, pretty much, right? It is one of the most comprehensive and extensive API, mapping API out there, and that's my preference over the rest of the other APIs. It has a lot of great mapping information and whatnot, right? However, Google just recently limited the amount of usage, and sometimes, or rather, if you are going to use, or if your application is going to use a lot of requests from Google Maps, you'll probably have to pay a tidy sum in order to continue using it, which maybe some companies are not comfortable to do that, right? The next mapping service would be Bing Maps. Bing Maps has a bunch of different services like AJAX controls, REST services, and et cetera, et cetera. So how many of you have used Bing Maps? Anyone? That person over there who said he has used everything. Just tried it. All right. So what are some of your thoughts in terms of Bing Maps? Do you like it? Do you not like it? How's the search? Because I have my own personal experience of it, and
I don't like it.
Sums it all. I didn't say that. He said that. So he said he didn't like it. Okay. So so funny story, right? I'm new to Amsterdam. This is my first time in Amsterdam, right? So I was trying out all these demos and everything that I was trying to do, right? With the Bing Maps and Google Maps and etc. And essentially, I was trying to find bars, right? The bars in Amsterdam, fairly common, you know. I'm sure there are bars in Amsterdam, right? Watering holes, right? Search bars in Amsterdam. I get no results in Bing. Absolutely no results. And I have no idea what, I'm like thinking, like, really, Amsterdam? Yeah, maybe I should like search that, right? I didn't really quite search that. So, so basically, I was kind of like, I thought I used the API wrongly, right? Apparently, I went to Bing Maps, I think bingmaps.com or something like that. Right? Went there, searched for it, didn't get any results too. So I don't think it's my fault in terms of my development fault, right? So I'll show you the code later, right? Very interesting. Very interesting. No bars in Amsterdam. Oh my. All right. So this next mapping API, I kind of like it, actually. I kind of like it. The reason why is simply because It is actually using OpenStreetMap. Do you guys know what OpenStreetMap is? Right? You all know? All of you guys know? Okay. Fantastic piece of project, open sourced. It's basically free, right? And the data is being updated regularly by people, and it's actually very useful right now. And I'll show you later the code. And it's really simple to integrate OpenStreetMap in using Leaflet, right? And Leaflet, basically, it's version 0.5, just released a few weeks ago, I think January 23rd, I think, somewhere along there. 0.5, you can just use them. You just need to do the CSS and the JavaScript. And the difference between Leaflet and every other API out there is that it's flexible enough that you can actually integrate Google Maps, other Google Maps services, and overlay the information and the data on top of OpenStreet. And that's what most people do, right? You guys know what layers are, right, in maps, the mapping technology? Right, layers. So you can actually put a layer on top, right, with the pins and whatnot, requested from a Google service or library. For example, like the Google Maps library called Places, I think, if I'm not wrong, and various other services from Google. So it's actually pretty useful. The last one is Open Layers. Open Layers is very, very simple. It's a very simple API. It puts a dynamic map, any dynamic map, on a web page or a mobile device, in this case. And essentially, it supports a lot of the different mapping technologies out there. And I really like you to use this. Of course, I use OpenStreetMap for this. And you can also integrate with the other services and libraries. So I think the question now is, which mapping service would you choose? Yeah?
I would prefer Nokia.
You would prefer Nokia?
Yes, Navtec Maps is quite similar to the Google Maps
So,
and more powerful.
really? The Navtec, right?
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong.
Big maps kind of I don't like it.
Yeah.
But if you
Do they have a web JavaScript API thing? Yep, so that's probably another one that we can integrate into our phone. Nice, interesting, by Nokia, right? That would make a very interesting demo, actually. I'll actually go back and write something for that, if there is the API for that. So yeah, Nokia would be another one, the Navtec. But ultimately, right, if you want really good mapping service with comprehensive and you're willing to pay, personally speaking, I would go with Google Maps. All right. If you're not willing to pay, but you want a lot more of the flexibility, Open Layers or Leaflet. I'm not going to recommend Bing. I'm sorry. All right. So, but you can still do it. I'm not saying you can't. I just think you can still do it. And Bing is actually pretty good in other countries. Don't think in Amsterdam, but they are actually pretty good in US, right? It actually searches very well. So, you can use that. All right. So what are some of the steps to actually go about getting these, or rather getting it ready? So I understand a lot of you haven't done BlackBerry 10 development, right? Have you done BlackBerry 10 development? Yes? Who haven't done BlackBerry 10 development? Like have no idea, completely no idea. Signing keys and like BBWP, WebWorks, how to package a web application? Because if you don't know, I will show you. Because if you do know, I won't show you. Do you want me to show you guys the steps? No? Everybody, yeah, the deployment and everything. I think you guys are good, right? Right? You guys are good. Okay. It's on the website. Exactly. It's on the website. I think you guys are good. All right. So this is the more important part, right? What are the steps to actually get your maps onto it? right? Very simple. It's a basically every mapping API out there. Get the API keys, register for the API keys, right? You have an API key. Add the necessary scripts, which I showed over here, all the scripts and whatnot, and the documentation is all online. Add a div for the map to actually show the map, right? With you can do the width and the height and whatnot. Get the location, which I showed you in the first few slides. Initialize the map service, and then have fun. Do whatever you want with the maps, right? Very simple. Very simple steps. Any questions so far? Yes? Any questions? Take a photo. Do you want to go ahead, take a photo. I'll just wait for a few minutes. I have lots of time. I'm almost done with my presentation. It's only 15 minutes. I'm almost done. All right? Anybody else? Oh, you're taking a photo of me. Oh, thank you very much. Wow. Oh, well, okay. Thank you very much. All right. So without further ado, let me go into the code. I love code. I love command line. I love code. So let's see. Let's get into it. I think first things first, I want to show you how it actually looks like and what we are trying to achieve. Okay, there we go. So very simply, what we're trying to achieve is just showing the map. That's it. I'm just showing the map, getting my current location, which I hope it's getting the correct location. Are we in the correct location? Are we? Yes? No? Maybe? I have no idea where we are, by the way. This is my first time in Amsterdam. I have no idea where we are. Are we correct? Roughly around there, I guess? No? Yeah? Somewhere about there. All right. A bit up. All right, let me reload that. Should be somewhere there, right? It's big enough. We should be somewhere there. All right. So the first things first, what I'm going to show you is how to initialize the maps and everything, right? Go through the steps, and then, of course, do something fun, something interesting, right? And the something interesting that I'm going to do is to search for nearby pubs, right? Watering holes, and essentially access the various other services and put a pin there. Very common, right? But you can do a lot more other things. There is some bug, as you can see over there in the screen. It's not rendering properly, but you know it does actually render properly. So yeah, trust me on that. So the next one is Bing, and if you notice, right, way at the bottom, I actually put nearby hotels, and I've already explained the reason why. So just going to do this, and it shows like some pins on the hotels itself, right? And then leaflet, yeah. So it's just that, right? Leaflet, and then it will show some of the pins over there. All right? And then, of course, open layers shows the pins of the nearby pubs. Right? Great. We can go. There's a nearby pub somewhere here, right? Yeah. Oh. All right. So that's how you do it, right? That's how you go about doing it. This is the application, the demo sample that I'm going to show you. This sample is actually downloadable in GitHub right now in our github.com/BlackBerry, okay? It's in our sample. So let me go to my computer and show code. Okay. So let me just go out of here. Oops. I'm supposed to go to my workspace, go to my BB dev, go to, where am I supposed to go? GitHub. And so under the GitHub, you will have the BB10 WebWorks samples, right? WebWorks samples, okay? And under the samples, you have, can everyone see? Is it big enough? Right? Under the samples, you can have basically there is a maps directory, which has all the maps stuff over here. Is it big enough? Good? Okay. Okay, so you have all the map stuff over here, and essentially, these are the initial files, right? This is very basic stuff. I'm going to show you the actual code over here. So the first things first, you'll probably want to see is the index. Don't see my keys. The index.html, right? So under the index.html, I'm just using a very simple UI framework, which is called BBUI. It just creates the UI that you've seen, the BlackBerry kind of UI, right? So I don't want to think about the other stuff, fancy stuff, menu and whatnot, right? So I'm just going to use BBUI, simple, concentrate on the maps, right? That is the purpose of this demo, is to concentrate on maps. I don't want to do any more fancy stuff, right? So essentially, this is where the BBUI is. Is the text big enough? Do you want me to increase the, is it big enough? Yes, no, maybe? Should I increase it? Yes, no? Fonts? Larger. Is it big enough?
Oh, yeah.
Bigger?
Perfect.
Perfect?
Yeah.
All right, great.
Although I'm sitting first row.
Although you're sitting first row, exactly, right? All right, so so you can see, like, I'm just adding a few of the JavaScripts and CSS and whatnot. I think the more important part is, the sample code over here, which is Google, Bing. So these are, what I mentioned previously, right? The steps. So this is, let me just go through the different steps then from beginning. 1, get the API key. In order to get the API key, go to the respective mapping service, and you'll just get some keys over here, right? And just use those keys. Next, you add the necessary scripts, which is over here. Add all the necessary scripts over here, the open layers, Google, whichever one that you decide to use. Okay, third, you add the div containing it. So the div containing it is actually not here. The div containing it is in the individual ones, which is here. All right, so this is just the div here. Google, Bing, sorry. These are the buttons, sorry. The div is just this one over here, ID map canvas. All right, so this is the div. So that's as simply it. Get location. Essentially, I put all the location stuff in the maps.js, right? Get location, all you do is just start the geolocation. What I mentioned, navigator, geolocation, dot get current position. Very simply. And then geo success, I get the position, I lock it down to GPS location. GPS location, I get the coordinates, I locked it down to a separate variable, and I check all my latitude and longitude. These two values are the most important, of course, right? After that, I do a setup. So I do an initialize, right? So initialize would be all of here, over here. So like, for example, initialize Google Maps. All this code, exactly all this, how to initialize a map, how do you initialize the different services, and so on and so forth, are all available on the individual mapping service. So all this code, seriously, I'm not joking, like copy, paste, blah, done, right? Is that simple? Is that easy? Okay? So all this initialization code and everything is all available in the documentations of the respective mapping API. There's nothing fancy going on. There's absolutely nothing fun-ish going on. No sleight of hand, right? And that's pretty much it. Of course, let's say, for example, if you want to put pins and whatnot, right? That's the fun stuff, to put search and pins. So let's take a look at creating a Google marker. So all you need to do, right, is essentially search for places. And this search for places is a method that I have over here, way below here, which essentially creates the request, the location, the type, which is a bar, obviously, from my location, and I send it into Google Maps. Notice that basically I'm using the same function because for open layers and leaflet, I'm actually reusing the same Google search, Google Places library services. Okay, I'm just using the same places services. So essentially, that's all this code can be gotten from Google, developer.google.com/maps. All right, everything there, simple, easy. Okay, so that's add, and basically all I do is just create, or rather get the callback over here, create the Google marker, and that's how you just, and to create a Google marker is essentially, like I said again, all the code is there, documentation is all there. In this case, it's google.maps.marker, and you can just set it on the map itself. For Bing, it's also pretty standard. You have the initialization. This code is exactly the same from the documentation. Initialize the Bing places, right? Initialize the Bing places, and I do a Bing search. However, the Bing search is slightly different. A little bit different, right? The query is actually a longer query string where I have to actually search hotels in location, right? Slightly different. So in order to do something like where's your current location, what do you need first? Get a current location. You need to reverse, what's the name? To find out where you're actually in an actual human language, right? Like, for example, Amsterdam, and then put it into the query for Bing, all right? And then basically you get back the hotels or the bars or anything like that. This query is essentially exactly the same as if you go to maps.bing.com and you just type hotels in Amsterdam, Netherlands, right? You'll get back exactly the same results, right? If you type bars in Amsterdam, Netherlands, you get no results back. All right. Funny? Never mind. All right. So after that, you just create the Bing marker. Bing marker is essentially Microsoft.maps.pushpin, right? Microsoft.maps.pushpin, and that's pretty much it. Documentation. What do I say again? I've been repeating myself. It's all on Bing. Bing is www.microsoft.com/maps/developer, I think, SDK or something like that, right? So it's all there, very simple, very easy. And then, of course, leaflet is slightly interesting. How many of you have done leaflet before? No? Okay, so leaflet and open layers are actually two of the more interesting things that I feel it's much more fun to play with. So for leaflet, you have to get the API, the keys, the API keys, which is here. Just copy paste API keys, set it down to the REST service over here, which very simple. Just get it, get the PNG, and so on and so forth. And of course, one of the things about open source is you need to attribute, right? So the only things that you need to do is just attribute the data to OpenStreetMap with the contributors, blah, 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 etc., 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 right? That's pretty much it. All this code, again, copy paste from the documentation, all right? You search for places. Search for places, all I'm doing is just leveraging on the same callback from Google Maps, all right? But however, the places to actually put the marker is slightly different. To put the marker is essentially using the L dot marker, where L stands for the leaflet main object. Okay? So that's pretty much it. Open layer is exactly the same. Same thing with the callback and so on and so forth. And with the marker, it's slightly different when you create a marker. The calls are slightly different where you have the geometry and everything, and that's pretty much it. Simple? There really isn't anything much to talk about for this. And of course, with that said, you basically get this wonderful maps that you can use on our platform, on the web application. Any questions so far? Did I run through a little bit too fast? I think I did. So I think I did run through a little bit too fast, but let me just leave it up to Q&A, right? Any questions you guys have in terms of using maps and whatnot. So these are some of the links that you might be interested in, some of the resources that you might be interested in. Developers.google.com/maps, Microsoft, yes, I was correct. Microsoft.com/maps/developers. Leaflet, you can just go to leafletjs.com, and OpenLayers, you can go to openlayers.org. For the samples that I just showed you over there, very simple sample, you can go to github.com/blackberry and then, that URL over there. There really isn't anything more interesting in terms of the mapping. I can't really show you anything that we have, that we don't have publicly. So, any questions? Yes, sir.
When roughly will the invocation be available?
When roughly will the invocation be available? So invoke the Maps API, right? Rather the Maps thing, app. I cannot say that. It's not announced yet, or rather, I cannot confirm that at the moment. All I know is it's coming. Sorry?
This quarter, this year, this half?
Sorry?
This half, this quarter?
This quarter, I read the roadmap. Right now, the roadmap is TBD, to be dated. Yes, sir? It is? Yes. Sorry? Yes. It's available? Yes. 10.1? Yes. Fantastic. Using the standard invocation. All right, there we go. It's available.
So, and with that, you can also invoke rub requests, local search requests, and go to
So with that, you can do
location spotting,
right?
local search around the spot, and driving requests from point A to point B.
Driving requests for point A to point B. Right, fantastic. I didn't do that demo. So it's available in 10.1 then. Fantastic. So there you go. You got your answer. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Can you use BlackBerry Maps?
Can you use BlackBerry Maps?
Yeah.
Together with you can use the BlackBerry Maps with the invocation, right? You cannot integrate it at the moment natively in the Maps API, right?
There is a mapping API within the Qt framework.
But it's not available for the web.
It's not integrated with
Yep.
web application. So if you're in a Qt or Cascades application, you do have a mapping API that you can use.
Yep. So if you're in a Qt or Cascades, you can actually use that. But for this web session, you will not. There is no native web that map that you can actually integrate into your application. You have to use the invocation to invoke BlackBerry Maps. Got it? All right. Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I want to know if you know anything about the TomTom JavaScript API.
TomTom JavaScript API. No, I don't know anything about that. I'm sorry. Is that something interesting? Do you have anything interesting to talk about?
We use it in our app.
Oh, okay. You guys use it in the app. Does it work for the web?
Yeah.
Yep. It's all JavaScript and everything. It should work perfectly fine on our platform.
It does.
Great. Any other questions? I'm sorry. If I knew invocation worked, I would have actually put it in. I would have actually done it. Damn. Oh.
Sorry to stand you up.
Sorry?
Sorry to stand you up.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Let me think. Maybe I can start coding something interesting since I have like half an hour to do like an invocation sample. Want to try my coding skills? No, I don't think so. Any other questions? Oh, why don't we? Oh, screw this. Why don't we just take a look at the invocation? How about that? Let's take a look. I'm just going to have fun. I mean, I'm pretty much done with this presentation unless you guys don't have anything, unless you have any other questions to ask. Any other questions? No, right? All right. Let's see how can I do this. I'm going to go Safari. I'm going to bring it up here. Wait, I'm going to go developer.blackberry.com. Let's see if I can do something interesting right now. Developer.blackberry.com. Let's take a look. There we go. All right, so let's go to, ooh, this is the new web page. Yeah, I've been busy. Yes, I haven't been looking at this web page. Let's see. I'm not getting this. HTML5. What? HTML5. All right. So roadmap. Let's take a look at the roadmap. It's let's see now. December, February, invocation list. Is it there yet? API reference. Invoke. All right. There should be a list of invocations that you can do. You have address book, browser, calendar, calendar composer, camera, email, file, maps. There we go. Let's go take a look at that one. Oh, that's BlackBerry OS 5. Nope. Let's go to BlackBerry 10. Invoke. Invoke API. Maps argument. For 1.0, it could be the type of arguments on the blah, blah, blah in the form of JavaScript. Let's take a look. Maps. Hey, where is it? I know the invocation methodology from native too, but it's not there. And I don't see in the roadmap though. Has it been updated? Oh, it hasn't been updated yet. Oh, okay. I think the documentation hasn't been updated yet. Yeah, but yeah, if you say it's there, it must be there. If you say it's there, it must be there. Apparently, it's not updated yet, so sorry about that. You know, I thought I could just like whip up something interesting, but apparently not. Kind of feel disappointed.
Basically, you can use any JavaScript.
Sorry?
Basically, you can use any JavaScript mapping service via the browser.
Basically, you can use any JavaScript.
It's like, I don't know, there are a lot of other mapping services like Mapbox.
Oh, yes, Mapbox.
With hitting maps and so on, something like that.
Exactly. Any mapping service that uses JavaScript, that uses, you know, any web technologies will be able to render on our platform. Right? Yeah. Apparently in 10.1, I don't see the update though in our documentation. Yeah. Let's take a look. Nope. Nope. 1.0.4.7. It's still the old one. Oh well. Anyways, that's that. I think I'm kind of a little bit too short, right? Actually, I'm going to do the next presentation also, which is more fun. Yeah, it's not really fun. My other presentation is more fun. Okay, so I have another like 15, 20 minutes more, I guess. 20 minutes more. If you have any questions, I'll still be here. I can ask, rather I can answer any web questions also that's not related to the web. For mapping. Yep. I will be doing the next session, which is porting Cordova, and I'll be doing the more fun session tomorrow, which I'm very excited about, which is the multimedia for the web. So that's going to be fun. This stuff, oh, that one is going to be fun. Yeah. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions that I can answer? Anything? Oh, please, come on. Like, where am I from?
Why you can't find bars big?
Why can't I find bars in Bing? That's a very good question. I have no idea. How about let's keep it to a discussion about maps. So what other map APIs do you guys have out there? Do you guys know about it? Like TomTom is one of them, right? Nokia, Navtec is one of them. What other APIs do you guys use? Hey, you guys feel free to like move on to the next session. I'm done. I'm done, man. I'm done. This is it. Done. You know, I'm just entertaining you guys until like the time runs out. Anything else? You can always like ask, you know, random WebWorks questions. Are you guys waiting for the next session? The Cordova session. Are you guys waiting for that? Really? You are? That's going to be another very short session because it's very simple. I love our web tools, you know, because it's so simple. There's really nothing much to talk about. Hey, where is my where is my invocation?
There's a standard way within.
Yeah, there is a standard way, but it's not exposed yet.
The whole thing about invocation is that you don't need a specific class to invoke a specific
Right.
application. Just as long as you know the invocation target string,
Right.
you should be able to invoke that application.
Oh, okay.
So that way the platform allows third parties to apply new applications.
Right,
to the
right.
system, and application A can invoke something that's new, therefore it doesn't have to be predefined.
Exactly.
Therefore, as long as you know what the string of the target application name
Right.
is, you can say invoke this application with this following data envelope.
And
that
it
envelope will be JSON.
It just got released. It just got released in 10.1, is it? Is that right?
Unfortunately, being a developer, I see the inside world and not the outside world.
Yeah, me too.
Its existence for months.
I know, right? I know that too, but I don't know whether if it's public or not. That's the problem. I think under Cascades, maybe. Invocation, documentation, API,
So back
invoke.
to documentation.
Right.
Something about invoking core applications, platform features,
Invoke.
app integration.
App integration, there we go. Invocation framework. List of invocations. Invoking core apps. Yeah, Maps is not there.
But it should be.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of surprised because Maps isn't there in the documentation, right?
Yeah.
So you can't quite invoke. I know you can invoke it internally, yes. I know how to do that. I've done that before, so.
Obviously, the documentation is
Yeah. So I guess they just updated it for 10.1, right? Is that right? Okay. I didn't get the memo, so. All right, thank you very much. If there's nothing else, you know, it's another 15 more minutes. If you want to hang around for the next session or chit-chat with me, you know, I'm always here. Funny guy, hopefully to make you guys laugh. Thank you very much. What's your name, by the way?
Jay.
Jay?
Jay. I'm doing a presentation tomorrow at 12:45.
On what?
Native maps.
Oh! You're the native maps guy. Yes! Thank you very much.
That's why I know.
This, exactly. I love you. Thank you very much. All right, thank you.